Today I was thinking I want to talk a little bit about, we're kind of in an acoustic blues mode here. I'm working off of an E ninth chord, and if you don't know your ninth chord yet, you really should, especially if you're into R&B or blues or even rock and roll. So I'm just going to spell this one out for you real slowly. This is E ninth, okay? So I'm not going to get into what that's all about other than to say you got your open E string, right? So I'm going to try to make it real easy for you. You got your second finger on the 7th fret of the A string, fingers that note, and then your first finger is on the 6th fret of the D string. Okay, so those are your first three notes, 1, 2, 3. Then it gets a little bit challenging, but bear with me. You take your third finger and do it how you can. Hopefully you've got the dexterity to do this. You take your third finger and you bar the 7th fret, the G, the B, and the high E string. Now, if you're able to do that, huzzah, great. So then you can form this chord. If by chance that's a challenge for you, you can still nearly get there just by tucking your third finger and your pinky on the G string and the B string respectively, like that. Now, it's true you're not getting that high B note and the high E, which I will miss. But until you can do that. So it still sounds pretty darn good. Okay, you with me so far? So right now we're exploring ninth chords, which have a prominent place in, oh gosh, so many different types of music. For sure in funk, if you think about James Brown, here, funk it up. And just by moving back and forth between E flat and F. So what that looks like, though, it's a lot more much simpler than it sounds. You got your E ninth, which I just showed you. Just go down a half a step. Pulls on everything, doesn't it? That's E flat 9. Just do that and come back up. You've heard that. You can do in the same sort of methodology. You can move up a half a step. You've heard that. Led Zeppelin does that. So a lot of rock music that borrows from the blues uses that particular chord. And I'm not gonna stray too far from this E ninth chord today. I'm gonna give you two more chords along the way. I'm gonna give you the 4 and the 5 because I think you need it. They're exactly the same fingering, so you're gonna probably like that part. So you've fingered it like this, right? Cool, good so far. Now, if you go all the way up, and this is a bit of a stretch for some people, going up high in the neck, that's okay. To the 12th fret, it sounds like this. When I say 12th fret, I mean the second finger on the A note. That's the octave A. And the same shape exactly I just showed you. Now, if you can't do this, again, you can do this. Get that pinky and third finger involved. So that's your 4 chord. And then you can either go up 2 more, which is, I know, that's a B9. And I mentioned that because it's the 1, the 4, and the 5 of E. If you don't want to do that, you can go all the way down to this one here, which is, a bit of sonically is a bit lower, but it's okay. And that's really basically the 2nd fret of the A string with the second finger, and then the same exact shape. Okay, it's all going to make sense in a minute when I put the 3 together. So here it is with the E ninth, and I'm going to do a little bit of kind of funk rhythm around it where I go back and forth between an E flat, an E, an F, and an E, and you'll recognize what that does. Then I'm going to go to the A, and by the way, if you're doing that A9, you can let the A string ring if you want. It's an option, especially for acoustic blues. You might find that handy. If not, just hit that 12th fret, it's fine. And again, or up to you, it depends on your level of comfortability there. And then the B, or here. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show it in more of a blues form and see if kind of a funk blues, and see if this makes sense to you. So you got your E. I'm just doing a nice easy rhythm. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flatten it. It's cool. Now I'm going to go up a half a step and see what that sounds like. You can almost just hang out there. Like a sly stone, now I'm going to go all the way up to that 12th fret again with the same exact shape, and we're going to be at the A, which is the 4 chord, A9. So it releases the tension a bit. Okay? Or the open A string in there. Back to the E. Get it? Now I'm going to go to that low B9. It's the same shape. The second finger is on the 2nd fret of the A string. And then if you want, you can go all the way up to that 12th fret again. Now this is sonically a bit of a jump, I understand. But once you understand how, the reason I picked that is because the open E that's involved with the E9, it just makes it sound so big and fat. And I wanted you to be able to do, if you do nothing else, hang out at that E and just get your rhythm going. You want to get James Brown with it. I'm getting all that mileage without changing the actual position of the actual shape of my fingers. I'm changing the position in the sense that I'm moving up and down the neck, but I have not changed the chord configuration, you know, what I'm putting down finger-wise, the shape. And I think that's an important thing, especially if you're just getting going on acoustic blues or just guitar in general. I'm focusing this lesson more on acoustic, but this works really well electric too. So I hope you like that. I'm just working off of the E9th chord, really. And if nothing else, like I said, you can just flatten it or sharpen it. and you're going to get mileage out of just hanging out. It's all about this right hand, you know. So there you go. I'll see you down the road.